Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Black Student Success Podcast, where we bring you insight and guidance from successful Black professionals and students. My name is Selvin, and as always, we appreciate the support. So we're going to do our Where Are They Now segment, where we talk to previous guests who have been on the podcast just to check in with them, see how things have been going since we last talked. So we have Tunde Osilaja, who was a guest in season 1. It's been about a year since we last talked. We talked about his experience, as an Army veteran, all the skills that he's learned, when attending West Point and afterwards, and how that has helped him with transitioning into a civilian life. So we're going to talk to him just to kind of see what things he's been up to, and if he has any additional insight for us. So Tunde, welcome back. How you doing?
It's always a pleasure to be back, Selvin. Thanks for having me, and I'm excited to get it going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, like I said, it's been about a year. What has Tunde been up to these days?
Yeah, so I think we talked right before I graduated from business school last year. So I graduated, which is a big deal for me. And right after graduation, I went into working in consulting, which is the job that I accepted after I graduated. And so I've worked since January, so I think we're just hitting about the 10-month mark here. So, just long enough to not be considered new anymore. I'm kind of getting my hands in and rolling my sleeves up, and I've just enjoyed my time so far. And I'm learning a lot, which is the biggest deal for me. So I'm excited to be here and continue the momentum moving forward.
Yeah, well, congratulations on graduation. How was it, and how long were you in school at the time?
So when I graduated, I was in school for about 2.5 years. So it was a long time to step away from work. But, I was armed with a lot of different tools and different things that helped me be a better professional. And I'm really, during the first year of working, I'm really seeing how that time off really helped me. And, I think one of the things that they say about being a consultant after business school is you go to business school to get your master's in business, then you work at a consultant firm to get your PhD in business. And so applying a lot of the different tools, and frameworks that I learned has really been beneficial for me.
Nice. And what was the particular program that you were in?
I was in the business school full-time MBA program at the Ross School of Business. Basically, the classes there are a little bit more student driven. So there's a lot of group discussions, a lot of group projects. One of the favorite things to do is write group papers. That's one of the toughest things I had to do was learn how to write papers in a group, because from a stylistic standpoint, you just have to make sure it flows well and, different people's ideas. So, long story short, that group dynamic at school in the full-time MBA program was a perfect segue for me to learn how to be a consultant, which, if you're familiar, you're working in a lot of different groups, and, there's kind of ambiguous goals and milestones that you have to accomplish. And, my time working at Ross and in that group dynamic has really sort of paved the way for success, as a consultant.
Nice. No, yeah, I can only imagine. Well, first of all, group papers is a new one for me. Yeah. You always hear the, quote unquote horror stories about group projects, but for the sake of a paper, which, a paper in itself, it takes a lot. And I'm sure on that grad level, you're taking it up a notch. And now you have to bring in, I don't know how many, 2, 3, 4 other people's ideas, and then putting those all together and ensuring that the work is even. So I can see how all of that and the good and bad that can come from that can translate into actually working with different companies and the different personalities and ideas that can, that you're responsible for kind of putting together for whatever their needs are.
Absolutely. And I think that, the biggest learning point from that group dynamic was, it's not necessarily about doing the thing that you think is right. You have to be able to read the room and, kind of get a sense of where other people are at, so you can sort of strategically, push towards the objective. And I think that all the mistakes and sort of the learning points that I had in grad school really, really shaped the way for me to be a successful leader and sort of a facilitator in that group dynamic as a professional, as a business professional.
Yeah, I'm sure those soft skills really kind of kicked in at that point. With kind of having the acumen behind that and just putting those together to be able to find that cohesion wherever that point is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ed, congrats on the opportunity, and again with finishing grad school. I'm sure that the not having to have some type of paper assignment that you're really cracking at, whether it's really early or really late, I'm sure that's a relief. And now kind of really being in the workforce full force at that point. The thing that we'll kind of close with is just, since that interview, it was kind of in our beginnings and everything, and I definitely enjoyed the conversation and learned a lot from that. But was there anything from that, or just kind of from Inquire as a whole, that had an impact since then?
Absolutely. And again, I applaud the work that you and your wife are doing, because I think it's cool to see that from someone that's really smart and doing great stuff. But even just from like a learning what other people are doing standpoint. Shortly thereafter, you interviewed two of my friends, John Viard and Nick Jones. And even just from a personal standpoint, to kind of see what they were up to, and, just to kind of get, you don't necessarily know what a police officer does, but you can sort of get the inner workings of what they're doing. From a personal standpoint, that was interesting to me. But I mean, even just across the board, really hearing what a lawyer actually does, or what someone that works in marketing actually does, that you only know what the title says, right? But you learn a little bit more when you hear the everyday ins and outs. And I think from a DE&I lens, from a racial lens, this is stuff that is not out there, and so it's good to sort of see this work, and it's helping people directly and indirectly, like me, who just kind of casually watches, so very, very cool to see, and I'm glad to just be a part of your efforts.
Yeah, well, we appreciate your time, and then showing your insight from your own experiences, and now at this point, kind of showing what fruits you're actually able to to enjoy with all of that hard work and adversity that you face during your path. So thank you again for that. Any last words you want to wrap up with us?
I think, I appreciate you bringing me on. I'm someone that I always like to pay it forward. So, if there's anyone that's watching this and just wants to reach out and learn a little bit more about, the spaces that I've been, I'm always happy to sort of set that up. So thanks again for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And thanks to everybody who's been watching and listening. Feel free to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. That's at Inquire Higher. And check out our website, inquirehigher.com. We've got a lot of great resources there. So until next time, peace.